Hey there lovies, it's time for another video, and for today's video I am going to be telling you guys a little story time. Now I would like to apologize if you guys hear the washer going in the room next door. My dad's washing clothes right now and there's really nothing I can do about the noise, so just try to ignore it and bear with me. And also I would like to put a little disclaimer out there and let you guys know that I'm not trying to throw shade at, the store, my job, or any of the people that worked there, because the people that worked there were like the nicest people that I've ever worked with. They made it so much fun, and I loved my job. If it was like a year-round store, I'd be working there 24/7 because that's how much I enjoyed it. Like, I loved it so much, and I really wish it didn't end. Even though I really loved my job and I enjoyed working there, I encountered a lot of rude people, as I'm sure you would at any like retail store sort of job. Like, you're gonna come across rude people. So this all started back in September. And they were in dire need of employees. And I had wanted to work there for years. And I applied for it like once or twice, never got the job. And so I was like, okay, I'll give it another chance. I walked in one day, I filled out an application, and he's like, okay, you're hired. He hired me right on the spot. So I thought that was awesome. I finally got the job of my dreams. Like I said before, this was a really fun job. It didn't really feel like you were working. Majority of the time, they had me back in the dressing room, so I was just helping people go in the back to try on costumes. So one day, I go to work, and I'm standing back there behind the counter where two little old ladies walk in, and they come to me. Of everyone that they could have came to in the store, they come to the back where I am. And these little old ladies, I would like to mention, I used to go to church with both of them, which is something that I find kind of funny. Where ours actually where an old department store used to be. And they did have bathrooms in the back. However, we rarely ever used those bathrooms just because most of them did not work. So most of the time we went and we used the bathroom that was right next door. And if we were allowed to use it, like the employees were the only people that were allowed to. I was told not to let anyone back there, so I wasn't going to get in trouble, and I never let anyone back there. These two little old ladies come to me this day, and she's like,
honey, do you have a bathroom?
We do, but it's for employees only. We're not allowed to let anyone go back there.
Well, honey, she has to go to the bathroom really bad. She can't hold it. She has health problems.
Well, there is a bathroom right next door, so you can go over there if you really need to use it.
That's too far. She can't hold it. She really has to go.
Okay, well, hold on one second. And I walked up to the front, got one of my co-workers to come back there and talk to them. So he explains to them that they can't use the bathroom there because we were told we weren't supposed to, that there's a bathroom right next door, and he apologized to her. He said, I'm sorry. And she goes,
well, you should be.
And then her and this other little old lady just storm out the store. And that was the last we ever saw of them. So that was like my first encounter with rude people. Now let me just say, I understand that she has health problems, that she had to go really bad. But there were bathrooms like all around this area. If she had to go that bad, why would you choose a store that really doesn't have a bathroom? Like, why would you come to a store that really isn't supposed to have a bathroom in the first place when you have so many other options? And besides the point, like, the bathroom that was right next door, like, I had gone there several times when I had to go really bad, and it really isn't that far. The next encounter was probably the worst in my personal opinion. One day, this lady and her two girls walk into the store, and she comes to the back to have them try on costumes. She had a teenager and a little girl that was probably around like 8 or 10-ish. So they tried on costumes. They come back a few minutes later, and she's like,
do you have a bathroom?
Once again, I go, we do, but it's for employees only. We're not allowed to let anyone back there. She looks at me, she gives me the most hateful look, and this is how it goes. And I am not kidding, excuse my language.
She's about to shit herself if she does not go to the bathroom right now.
Darts out the store. I'm sitting there like, what the hell did I just encounter? Like, of all people she could have came to in the store, why did it have to be little old sensitive me? Like, of everyone else you could have chose to ask if they had a bathroom, you had to come to me. So I'm just sitting there like in disbelief of what just happened. And a few minutes later, she comes back into the store with her girls. I'm walking around, you know, I'm putting stuff back where it's supposed to be. And I see them in an aisle, and they just gave me the hatefulest look when I walked past them. So I went up to the counter and I was talking to one of my coworkers and I was telling them about the incident that I just had, and I just couldn't believe what I encountered and like how rude she was to me. This cute little old man that came into our store, and he was trying on hats. He even had like a Donald Trump mask and he was like trying it on in the mirror, and I was like sitting there getting to witness the entire thing, and I'm like, oh my god, this little old man is making my day. So he comes over and we're supposed to take the costumes out of the packages before we give them to people. Well, this one day I had the lock off of the dressing room, and this same cute little old man walks over, and I'm like, how many costumes do you have? Like, I stopped him, like he was getting ready to go in the back where the rooms were.
I just have this one.
And he's getting ready to go back again, and okay, well, I have to get it out of the packaging before I can let you go back there. We're not allowed to let you guys open up certain ones because they have to repackage it, and we're also not allowed to give you guys accessories because of a theft problem. Like, someone might take it in the back and steal it.
Well, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to go back there and try on this costume.
Okay, well, you've got to let me see it first so I can get the accessories out of it and take it out of the package for you.
So you're telling me you don't want me to go back there and try on this costume?
You can try on the costume, I just have to take it out of the packaging first.
Well, that's what I was going to do, but apparently you don't want me to, so okay.
And then he just walks away. And once again, I'm in disbelief of what I just encountered. Like, this cute little old man, who I thought at first turned out to be really rude. There was this one day, and this is actually kind of embarrassing, but I was already having like a rough day at the beginning when I woke up and I came to work. And so my mind really wasn't in the right place. I went to my job and my boss is like, there's an old man up front who needs your help with something. Basically all he wanted me to do was order a costume for him online. I clicked on one. I wasn't thinking. And I clicked on one and he's,
is that the only one you have? Like, do you have any other options?
I go back to let him look at the other costumes.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and take that one that you had.
Now, I forgot that I had already placed it in the cart before. And I went and I placed it in the cart a second time. He's sitting there talking, and let me just say, this old man wasn't the nicest to begin with. He was from out of state. He wasn't even from here. And he was coming to get a costume for his grandson. But he wasn't the nicest to us. He had told my co-worker to shut the f*** up. As I'm sitting here doing my best trying to help him, placing his order for this costume, he is talking to me, and I'm trying to do two things at once. So I didn't really hear what he was saying, and I heard him under his breath go, well, it turns out I had accidentally placed an order for the costume twice, so he ended up paying for the costume twice after I put in all his information and everything. I felt really bad. I apologized to him. I went straight to my boss and told him what happened, and my boss was like cool with it. He's like, it's okay, it wasn't your fault, you made a mistake, and people are just gonna have to realize that. So that was another incident, but in a way I feel bad for saying this, but I kind of feel like that was like his karma for him being so rude that day to us. And then I just experienced some very interesting encounters with people when I worked there. There was one time when I was back in the dressing room doing my job, and there's another guy standing right there. I believe he was looking for something. And then there's this other guy that walks in, and I'm not trying to be judgmental. He was one of those types of people, and if you know what I'm talking about, then you'll understand. He was one of those types of people that his pants hung kind of low and like you could see his underwear. So he comes in and he's walking, you know, he stands over in the corner and he has his back turned. And he's sitting there fiddling with something with his hands, kind of like right in this area. And I'm just standing there watching this entire thing, and this guy that's standing right in front of me, he's watching him as well. And finally, he walked away. I was a little bit concerned there for a second, and the guy's like,
I was too.
I went up to the front, and I told them what I had just seen, and they said he could have been stealing something, even though it kind of also looked like he was doing something inappropriate at the same time. So they kept an eye on this guy, and he ended up walking out of the store, I think, because he got mad because we were kind of like keeping an eye on him, but we just weren't sure, and you never really know with certain people. I don't know. He just seemed a little off, if you know what I mean. And so then there was this cute little old lady that comes over with this sexy nurse costume. And she's like, can I try this on? And I'm like, sure. So I pulled it out of the packaging. I'm not judging. I mean, shoot, I think it's awesome. Like, I want to be that way when I'm old. I hand her the costume. She goes back there. She tries it on. She comes back out. And I'm like, did it fit you okay?
Honey, it fit, but there wasn't nothing sexy about it.
There are other costumes over there if you would like to try them on. Well, see, what I was going for, and her husband comes over and he's standing right at the table, had set down a bottle of fake liquid blood on the counter. And she goes,
What I was going for, what we were going to do was we were going to take some blood, and he was going to dip his hands in it, and he was going to put it in this area.
I'm like, oh wow. That's what I'm thinking in my head. Oh wow. And she was asking me which type of blood I would recommend. So I'm like, well, if you're going to do something like that, then the liquid blood is probably your way to go. Yeah, I had some pretty interesting encounters with people. As I said before, I absolutely loved my job there. I thought it was awesome. I would work there all the time if I could. I had like the best coworkers. They were so awesome. Yeah. And once again, I'm not trying to throw shade at anyone or my job or anything like that. Really thought that this was a good idea for a story time. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a big old thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you have not already and become a morbid maniac. Feel free to leave me a comment and let me know, have you ever experienced anyone who was really rude to you or experienced any interesting encounters with people at your new job? I would love to know, and I will see you guys in my next video.
So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a big old thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. Shit.